Sorry, I'm kind of nervous about this.
It's alright. Just take a breath and tell me, who is Katherine Lionelson?
Who is Katherine Lionelson? Well, I know this is going to sound cheesy, but even I don't know. I mean, I've been in the show business since I was drawn, or as you even say it, born. My creator was not quite of a good person. He wanted fame from his work so bad that he was willing to do whatever it took to get it. You see, it all started in the early 90s when Hollywood got the money that they needed to make original cartoons again and not just stories based off of, toys.
And how is a toon, as you say, drawn?
Well, this is a big one because not most of the people who are in those studios don't know what goes on down there because, well, how it works is black magic.
Black magic?
Yes, it's the only way to bring toons to life. Ink, paper, crystals, insemination, and then we're alive. But with my creator, he added something when he was making me. From what I was told, he cut himself on his fountain pen and left a drop of blood on the paper. And with that DNA, a part of me, I became half human. Unlike most toons, I could feel pain, I can bleed. I could also probably die. I mean, I'm not sure, but I didn't want to take that chance of finding out. So I've had to be careful about it.
And what was your life like when you were a child star?
Well, it was pretty much like any child star's life. There was stress, working all hours of the night, abuse, and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to you being a toon child star, it makes it harder because humans have this way of thinking that, we can't get hurt, so we get pushed around no matter what. We could feel pain, but it's only emotional pain. But they don't care about that. Hurt as just any other form of physical pain would. Anyways, I did have some friends to play with, but since they were always so busy, we didn't have time to just, hang out.
Were those other child stars?
Yes, and one of them was Danny. We worked together on a show called Jungle Pack, and when we were not working together, which was very little, we would have great times playing, making each other laugh, trying to do what we could to cheer ourselves up, and try to stay strong.
That's good to hear.
No,
But what about your sisters? Didn't they want to be with you?
Oh, since they were older, they always wanted to do their own things. And whenever we sang songs or whatever, they always played the characters of being the lovable big sisters. But backstage, they hated me for getting all the attention. And since only got a little time, they would go out and start trouble.
Really? Huh. Well, do you know what happened to Jenny and Monica? No one's seen them since the 90s.
Yes. They were put in the dip. I guess things got out of hand, and the producers, they didn't want things to go out in public to be found out, so they got rid of them.
Oh my god! Wait, did you see this happen?
In a way. Well, I saw their shadows and heard the screaming.
Did you tell anyone about it?
Who could have, I told? Everyone in show business is two-faced. Why do you think I had to handle with all the abuse throughout those years?
Come on, there had to be someone who could have helped you. Come on, there had to be someone who could have helped you.
Well, there was someone. In a way. You see, in the studio, there was a story about a toon cat who was made in the 40s, and something went wrong, and he became dangerous to the point that everyone in that building ran for their lives, and no one's been in that building ever since. Until one Halloween night, some of the kids and I snuck out and went to see if the stories were true. When we got to the building, everything seemed exactly how it was left. It was creepy. But not as creepy as what we saw when we went down the basements. As soon as we turned on the lights, there we saw a cartoon cat, taking a nap. And when he saw us and when we saw him, we ran for our lives. But I was the only one who almost didn't make it. Next thing you know, I felt my tail being grabbed and he held me upside down and told me that he knew who I was. And if the inks did not change in my life, things were going to get worse in the future. I mean, can you imagine that? An urban legend monster being the only person to give me good advice.
Did you take that advice?
Of course. It wasn't easy, but I had to do illegal things, break contracts, and other crazy stuff. But it was finally done, and I got my freedom. But then I became pregnant with my first child. And since I was the only toon who ever got pregnant like a human, I lost my freedom again. Reporters were always around. Helicopters were always flying around my house. And seeing me pregnant was like finding a golden ticket for them. And coming home after giving birth, it made things more of a challenge. Paparazzis were following me. Flashing of the lights of the camera caused my daughter to wake up and cry. And then when we finally got home, the press tried to break down my garage door. It was insanity.
I can imagine.
But finding my place on Broadway has made things easy. Still have an acting job, as well as having privacy for me and my children.
But Katherine, what would happen if your children wanted to be in show business?
Well, I'm not the one to stop them. But if they do want to pursue I would explain to them of all the dark stuff that the business can do to you. And if you make the right choices and handle them, then you can handle this job. You're welcome.
That's great. Anyways, that's all the questions I have. Thank you for this interview, Miss Diane Nelson.
You're welcome.